Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Saturday, it's October 22nd. So I hope that you're having a good morning so far. I have gone back to my cup of tea. I've got my green tea this morning, and it's lovely. Nice start to the morning. And I just feel today is a very misty autumnal day. I don't know about where you're living in this world, but last week here, it just there was a turning from summer to winter. Everything has gone like a deep gold color. There's red leaves, and the autumn, plants are coming into bloom, and it's really lovely. So, and I have to also remember that we have women in 150 countries in our 60 and Me community. So not all of you are in the Western Hemisphere. So whatever the weather is with you, I'm sure that you're enjoying it. And it was interesting yesterday, we asked the question about where you go for inspiration. And I would say that 90% of the comments were to get out into nature. That somehow there's something very soothing and calming about being out in nature, sitting by a lake, walking in a park, that's where we tend to go for our peace and our inspiration. So hope maybe that's something you'll do this weekend. So have a great weekend. I'd like to bring you up to speed on a bit of the news of the world. In Iraq, the battle continues towards Mosul. The Iraqi forces and coalition are about 6 or 7 miles now from Mosul and making progress. But yesterday, the Islamic State army attacked another village in Iraq, I think to distract them and maybe bring troops up that way or down that way from Mosul. But the local armies helped and got things under control. That was in Kirkuk. Anyway, the story continues in Iraq every day, and I just think it's important for the world, where there's a lot of countries and partners involved in this initiative to regain Mosul from the IS army. In Turkey, though, there's also this complementary challenge going on, which is Turkey is bombing Kurdish militias in the north of Iraq. They, as we've talked about before, feel that they should be involved in that border between Iraq and Turkey, but they consider the Kurdish militia to be terrorists. And the coalition and the Iraqi government does not consider them to be terrorists, and they're actually allies in this battle for Mosul. So the Turkish government is bombing airstrikes on the Kurdish militia. So it just goes to show the complicated dynamic. In the United States yesterday, there was a very severe hacking attack on some file servers on the northeast coast, and a lot of people had difficulty accessing Twitter, Netflix, PayPal, other sites like that. There was not a data theft, but there was disruption of these sites that people use a lot. And I think one group has claimed responsibility, a hacking group, but this seems to be an ongoing challenge for the United States and the world. It's now, I believe, back to normal, but this company, I think they're called DIN, they actually said there were 3 different attacks. So if you're in the Northeast and you had trouble watching your movies last night, this is why. It was just in that region though. In the Cameroon, there was a very, very tragic accident yesterday. A train that was carrying 2 times as many people as it should have, the 1,300 instead of 800 or so. It went off the rails, and 50 people were killed. And I think there had been a lot of rain, and the road leading to the destination was washed out. So people just jumped on these trains, and it was overcrowded, and they had an accident. So hopefully everybody is, at least the ones that were not hurt and killed are feeling getting back to normal, and the families are dealing with it in the best way they can. Very, very sad situation. And then, of course, we've got Mother Nature tearing up the Asian area. Hong Kong is under a typhoon alert. It's this Typhoon Haina that has been in that area for some time. And they've actually shut down some of the airports are cancelling flights, and also 9 cities in the south area of Hong Kong are actually under a super high alert for damage. They've got 22, 23 shelters all around Hong Kong. So if you're in Hong Kong and you can give us any update on what's going on, that would be great. Love to know, kind of what you're experiencing there. And I know we do have women in that part of the world, so take good care. Hope you're okay. Now, in the United Nations, as you probably remember from last week, we talked about France and other countries had suggested that the UN look at the situation in Aleppo through the lens of a decision on whether war crimes are being committed. The High Commissioner for Human Rights in the UN has just announced yesterday that there is justification for this claim, and that he wants there to be a special committee set up to look at the attacks in Aleppo particularly, and whether and to support or to investigate the claim that war crimes are being committed. This is a serious charge, and so far, by the way, the ceasefire in Aleppo is holding. Maybe there's some relationship there, but the Russian and Syrian armies are trying to let people get out, get humanitarian aid in, but there's a lot of distrust and a lot of challenge there. In the Philippines, President Duterte came back from China, and he had made this very bold statement while he was there that he was cutting off all relationships with the United States, and his trade minister said, not so fast. And when he got back to Philippines, he's kind of changing his mind. So if you were in any way alarmed by that comment yesterday, President Duterte has said, well, maybe he was a little too excited there. And he's now, nothing is changing so far. Those are some of the news stories that attracted me this morning, and they kind of represent a lot of different angles to this world that we live in. But most of all, I wanted to stop and change gears and talk about a couple of things that, again, will make you feel positive about this world. There's a ton of bad things going on, and I know there's so many people in our community who are facing personal challenges. I totally respect, and my heart goes out to everyone. I really, will continue, as I said, to write stories that hopefully give you some solutions and ideas for making things better. But but we can't stop everything. But here's a story from Scotland. Now, I like Scotland. As I mentioned before, I have a son who lives there. I travel there a lot, and the Scottish people are pretty cool. They're very independent. They speak their mind, and they have a leader right now. Her name's Nicola Sturgeon, who is doing some great things for Scotland. And I read a story here about the fact that starting in January 2017, the Scottish government is going to be sending out care packages to all new moms. Now, this is, of course, something that really energizes new moms because they have no idea, some of them and some of us, where to start. How do you begin? But this box will contain, picture books and teething toys and educational materials, and it will come in a big box that is modeled on the boxes they give away in Finland. And actually, apparently in Finland, there's a little mattress in the box which can serve as the baby's first little bed if you don't have one. But it's got medicinal supplies and other things a new mom would need. So this is starting in January, and Scottish moms are going to get a big surprise in the new year. And these baby boxes have been being distributed in some of the Scandinavian countries for a while. Finland has been giving this out for years, I think 75 years. And they have got one of the lowest infant mortality rates in the world. I think it's number 2 or 3. And they attribute it to this empowering moms with this great material. And I think that's great. I was just thinking as I was reading this story, do you remember when you had your children? I mean, I had mine many years ago, of course, and like you, 30 years ago. And it was so different. I mean, I remember of course, we didn't have internet, so we just kind of got the books we had, we got the books we thought would be helpful. We listened to friends and family, but we really didn't have the tools that a lot of moms have today. And it's really an amazing, step forward. I'm happy for the moms in Scotland. And there's going to be a competition for the box design. And I love how collaborative we can be sometimes. And in Dundee, which is a town in Scotland, they're going to have a big competition for the decoration on the outside. It's going on now. So anyway, I think that's great. Well done, Scotland. And that's a fantastic move. And finally, I want to just give you a little story that I read on, I forget if it was a happiness site, but this is about a man. His name is Orville, and Orville is a bit like our Mrs. Jones yesterday. He's 94, and he is still working. He's an accountant, and the story was about the fact that he's changed his whole idea of retirement. He's got a new definition for him of what ideal retirement is. Anyway, he's a CPA, and he goes to work every day. And he said, you know, I think I'm going to maybe cut back to 3 days when I'm 95. That's his mission. And he says, you know, I'm basically living retirement my way, and my big thing is I'm not wearing a suit and tie anymore. And I'm 94, done with that. So he wears Bermuda shorts to work and whatever makes him comfortable. He's quite a character. But I think what it points out is that, you know, for some people, working after 60, 65 is something you don't want to do. You're done with work. But for some people, they see it as a way to create memories and to keep making a contribution. And so this gentleman, 94, is still going to work. Now, just so you know, he hasn't had an easy life. He fought on the front lines in World War II. He was a prisoner of war, and he had a very debilitating disease that paralyzed him for some time. And he overcame that, you know, and is now living what he calls his ideal life. And just a question back for you, man. Are you living your ideal life? And if you're not, you know, why not change it? Why not make it ideal? He says he does a lot of stuff with his family still, and they go on trips together. I don't know how many grandchildren and children he's got, but you know, a lot. They went on a trip. I think 21 people took the trip. But he keeps his you know, rose-colored glasses on, and says that the world's a good place for him. And I guess like I did, like with Mrs. Jones, I'm with Orville. I'm going to keep my rose-colored glasses and just always be striving, you know, for that ideal, that happy life. And he talks also about memories and how legacy for him is more than just giving the money that you have left over. You know, it's not more than giving to your heirs. It's about giving them memories and rituals and you know, things that you did together that stayed as strong legacy of your happy life together. And I mean, happy and sad. I mean, it's where you just incorporate it all. So anyway, I think that's kind of cool. And I'd like to just do a shout out to Orville if he's out there and knows that at least I think he's doing great. Now, I wanted to remind you one thing before I reveal the winner of our scarf from yesterday, and that is, I don't know whether you all know this. A lot of you come to 60andMe, but may not know what other things we've got going on. And I would encourage you to go up to 60andme.com/start, and it shows you all the different things we're doing, the different articles, services we provide, and just take a look and check it out. And also, we have a number of bloggers who write with us for you, and they write on topics that they're experts in. You know, I'm just not an expert in everything, certainly not, and they are, and we ask them to come write, and they love it because you are so kind to them and you give them such great feedback, and it's like a big family. But we have just brought on board several new bloggers. We've got so many of them, and they're wonderful. We've got people that make amazing cakes. We've got people that have travel tips for cruising, and we've got other retirement humor. We've got a couple of women now that are very, very funny, and they write for us as well, just showing the bright side, the funny side of getting older. So I would just encourage you, go up to our website and check out our bloggers and support them. And you know, give them your feedback on what they write. So now, just coming to a close. Again, thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. We have a winner for our beautiful blue floral scarf yesterday. Her name is Nancy Ryan. Congratulations, Nancy. I picked up your name, and I want you to have this scarf and take it home and wear it in good health and just brighten up your day with that beautiful pattern and color. So Nancy, that's our winner of our scarf. And I guess the last thing, of course, is to leave you with a question, like I always do. And I'm just fascinated by all of you and what you're doing with your lives. So I have a really simple question for you this weekend, and that is, what are you going to do this weekend? You know, what plans do you have? Share what you're doing this weekend with us, and everybody, look out for each other. See if they're doing some similar things, and just share and like and comment on each other's comments and feedback. And I'll join in too, and let's have a fun conversation. So just tell me, what are you doing this weekend? Whatever you do, have a wonderful, wonderful time, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow on Mornings with 60 and Me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.